it's incredible to hear that, especially with such an experienced producer and experienced band. I wonder what that is. Is it a bit like, I'm sure you went through this through the writing process when you've written a chapter and you're not sure, I don't know. And then when you're reading a few paragraphs, I'm not sure I'm getting my idea out there the way I want it to. Is it clear enough? And then you just remove one sentence, or you just remove one from this paragraph, one from that paragraph, and then, now it's singing, now it's humming, now it's purring beautifully.
Yes.
Is it a bit like that, I guess?
Absolutely. You can, sometimes removing the distractions, it falls into place. And I can also say the opposite is true in the studio, where we'll be working and trudging along and it seems mediocre, and then all of a sudden it gets good and everyone looks at each other like something's happening, and you feel it in the moment. That's actually more common.
Yeah.
Feeling it in the moment and recognizing something special is happening. But this was a really interesting case because it was the furthest extreme in the opposite direction that I've ever experienced.
Yeah, and what's interesting for me, as someone hearing that story, is you're constantly being surprised. All your years of experience and knowledge, and then even you are getting surprised.
All the time, daily. I'm surprised daily.
Yeah, and there's another quote I was going to talk to you about, which I nearly brought up when you were chatting about writing the book, because you said, I think you were talking about essentially it being out of your comfort zone. It was unusual for you to be writing yourself, putting your name on the front. And again, I maybe because I just started writing book 6 at the moment, but I love this. Beware of the assumption that the way you work is the best way simply because it's the way you've done it before.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no right way. And sometimes when we do something and find success in the way we've done it, we think that's the way it works.
Yeah.
But it's rarely the only way. And it could quickly become a limiting belief if you start making things that all start seeming very similar.
Yeah.
So opening it up to trying a completely different way, using a different palette, collaborating with different people. There's so many different ways in. Being open to, if you're a rock band, maybe the acoustic version is interesting. If you're used to playing loud, you don't think the quiet version could be good, but you never know. It's like, let's turn over all the stones. Let's see what's possible.
There's another similarity here between art and medicine. And, well, I guess my view on medicine more and more is that for most of the cases I see, helping a patient to get better, whatever that means,
Yes.
I'm convinced now more than ever that it's more art than science.
Yes.
I understand for a very acute case,
Yes.
or, you need a heart operation, like I know you've spoken about publicly before.
Yes.
You need a super skilled surgeon who can go in and do what's necessary. I understand that. But for the bulk of things that people are complaining of these days, I think the job of a healthcare professional or a medical doctor like myself is to be like you are to your artist, an invisible coach, right? Reflect back to them, help them realize that they've got more autonomy, more control, more influence on their health than they think.
Yes.
But also realize, like what you just said, that there is no one right way.
Yes.
Like I can see 10 different people with symptoms of, in inverted commas, depression.
Mm-hmm.
And there may well be 10 different ways
Yes.
to help those 10 people. And actually, the same person, you may be able to get them better in 5 different ways.
Yes.
So it's funny, the book, it ain't just about making records. It's not about writing books. It's also about seeing patients. It's about, I think you say somewhere that it's about, art and creativity is actually about the way we experience life. And that's why I think it is so magical, because these are little bits of timeless wisdom that in many ways you've written through the lens of music, but actually are applicable to everything.
I hope so. I hoped to write the book in an open enough way where, and I think the nature of the principles that are discussed are not about music.
Yeah.
And while I view them as being about art, it is true we can live in an artful way and it'll be better than if we don't, regardless of what it is we're doing.
Are we all artists?
We all are artists. The question is, are we a better artist today than we were yesterday? And are we doing everything we can to be the best artist we can be tomorrow? And we're all art. We may not all be Da Vinci, but are we better than we were? And can we continue to become better and better and better? And it's an ongoing, iterative process over the course of our lives.
Creativity, of course, is a huge part of art. And I was thinking about this morning when sort of reflecting that we were going to have a conversation today. I was thinking, well, if life is art and creativity is an expression or something we have to tap into to express our art, then maybe the way we are with our children, the way we are with our partners, that's creativity as well. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All of it. And how we are with ourselves. Again, it's all of those things. Anything we do if we're dealing with some issue, and if we decide to take a pill for that issue or decide to make a creative change in our life that allows the issue to resolve itself, that's a creative choice. And it seems like, in terms of the sustainability of being able to do these things for a long time, maybe the taking the pill version isn't the best way to solve our issues. How often, as a physician, how often do you recommend a lifestyle change versus a pharmaceutical?
I mean, pretty much 99% of the time, if not 100% these days. This is what my entire career, and certainly with patients, but also my public facing career, this is what it's all about, is to help people realize actually the majority of what we're struggling with today is a result of our collective modern lifestyles. And I say that very carefully. I'm not blaming people.
Yes.
It's our collective modern lifestyles.
Yes.
And actually, I believe this book, now I think about it, you can make a case that this is a health book.
Mm-hmm.
Because if art is an authentic expression of who we are, and we're going to do that irrespective of the outcome, irrespective of what people are going to think, if it's truly about authenticity, then I can categorically say with certainty that people living inauthentic lives results in so many of the problems that I see. Simple one, like if you are not living in alignment with your values, with that disconnect in who you are, with that fracture that's opened up in the core of who you are, you will put things in that void, sugar, alcohol, whatever it might be. It's often trying to fill the void of inauthenticity. So the book, I feel, is helping people live a meaningful, more authentic life with some simple but very, very timeless and apt truths. So I would have thought if people absorb them and live their lives by them, that it will also help improve their health.
Absolutely. I'll tell you a story. I used to live in artist hours, musical artist hours. So I would sleep until typically noon, although it could be as late as 3. And then I would not leave the house until the sun set. And then I would work in the studio all night long and usually drive home as the sun was rising. That was my normal schedule for years and years and years. Even back to high school, I missed the first 3 classes of high school for the last 2 years of high school pretty consistently because I was already training this late night owl schedule, which just felt natural to me. And it seemed the way other people who were interested in the things that I were interested did the same. And I worked with a performance coach named Phil Maffetone, and this was, let's say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And the first thing he said is, and I used to sleep with these blackout blinds. And he said, the first thing I want you to do is as soon as you wake up, open the blinds and go outside, preferably naked, but at least as much of your body in the sun as possible the minute you wake up.
Yeah.
And he had me start doing that. And at this time I was waking up at noon, and I started doing that. And very quickly, I started waking up earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. It happened completely naturally. When he suggested it to me, what I heard, so he said, I want you to go outside in the sun the minute you wake up. What I heard was, I want you to jump off a cliff. That's how radical and terrifying it sounded compared to how my experience of what safe and comfort in life was not that. And that was the first, like, getting in tune with the planet. It was something I didn't know about. I didn't know about that. So in terms of being your authentic self, also being your authentic animal on this planet, there are certain historically, on a DNA level, there are things that our bodies like. And in our modern world, we don't take those into consideration.
Evolutionary truths, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now I do as much as I can to live by the way people lived 1,000 years ago as possible, or 10,000 or 100,000.